This short class is abdominal based. I've written it with two people in mind. The first is Alex. Alex needs to work on her neck strength a little bit. So if you have neck problems, then this is a good one to follow. Be aware that the aim is to strengthen your neck, so it might be quite difficult to begin with. You might need a little bit of support of your hand at stages to begin with, but you can slowly, as you slowly get stronger, then you'll be able to complete more of it. The other person is Sue, and Sue was interested in a class that I taught a couple of weeks ago and asked me to re-teach it. So what I've done is put some of the choreography that I used in that class in this video. The only thing you need is your mat and a block, please. So we're going to start lying down. Lying on your back. If you are a little bit flexed in your spine, then you can use a cushion behind your head, but I'm not going to do that. If you feel like your skull is kind of looking backwards, then do get a cushion, because you should be able to look with your eyes straight up to the ceiling without any stress in your neck. And I'd just like you to think about the back of your skull, and you're going to lengthen the back of your skull along the mat to the wall behind you. And as you do that, your chin will come towards your throat a little. And then just release that and bring your eyes back up, so your eyes are looking back to the centre or back up to the ceiling. And you're going to do that again. Don't worry, you won't do many, so you won't rub your hair away. And one last time. The aim is that we're moving the joint where the skull and the top of the neck meet, rather than your rib cage or your shoulders. So your shoulders should be nicely still. And then come back so you're looking at the ceiling. Now we're going to get your hands, clasp your hands behind the back of your head. And your elbows will be lifted slightly away from the mat. Make sure that your breastbone feels like it can relax down through your torso into the ribs at the back. And your ribs at the back are sitting nicely in your shoulder blades. If you suddenly feel that your shoulder blades squeeze together and your back lifts away from the floor, then your elbows are too wide. Start with that little nod of the head again, sliding the back of the skull along the mat. And then keeping your head heavy in your hands, just hover your head a millimetre or so off the floor. As you do that, you'll feel that your breastbone still stays down, the back of the ribs still stay down, and your shoulder blades are firmly planted on the mat. And then release and come back down again. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Little nod, and then just take the weight out of your head. And all the time that you're doing that, your eyes stay looking slightly down, slightly towards the wall in front of you. And then release down. And one more time, little nod, and then picking the head up. The further you pick that head up, actually the lighter it is for your neck. So your aim is really just to take the weight out of your head. And then come back down. And the longer you hold this as well, the harder your neck muscles have to work. Now, I'd like you to change your hand position, so that your hands are just down by your sides. We're going to do 3 without using our hands. If you want to keep your hands there, then please feel free to do so. A little nod of the head, and then just lifting the weight out of the head. This is hard work. Shoulders don't roll forward, so feel your shoulders staying back on the mat. And you can just hold for 1 breath, or for 2 breaths, or for 3 breaths. It's really up to you. As soon as you feel that your eyes start to go towards the ceiling and looking back behind you, if your skull starts to roll backwards, then it's time to come back down. Release back down, and we'll do that again. A little small nod, and then lift. Just watch out that your skull isn't rolling backwards as you do this. Check that you're not lifting your shoulder blades. You'll try and come higher, because it really isn't as hard on your neck to do that. And then slowly releasing that down. And we'll do it 1 more time. Nod, and weight comes out. and then releasing that down. Now the sure thing is, if the back of your neck starts to hurt, then you're not getting this quite right. If you feel that you're working through the front of the throat, then that is fine. Now take your arm out to the side, let's say your right arm out to the side, and then your left hand goes behind the back of your head. You're going to pick up your head again, little nod, and pick it up. And then I want you to just gently squeeze your right foot into the block and rotate your ribs so you roll onto the right side of your ribs, and your left elbow will roll towards your right arm. And then slowly roll back across through your ribs to the left side of your rib cage and then down. We'll do that again. Tiny little pick up of the head, and then start to roll from the centre through to the right side of your spine, and let the elbow follow the movement. As you do that, press into the right inner thigh so that you're not moving your pelvis. So the movement's really through your rib cage and not just that you're changing the weight of your body. And then roll that down. We'll do 2 more like that. Hover and then roll. Slowly rolling that down, almost feeling each part of your rib cage from the right to the left as you go back down. And last one, hovering and rolling. Picked up the speed just slightly here, just to give you a slight sense of change in speed. Inner thigh still working. Now we're going to change to the other side. So you're going to take the left hand out, right hand goes behind the head. Hover the head again, and then press the left foot into the block. The right foot will still be doing some work. Start to roll from the right side to the left side a little bit. As you do that, keep the pelvis still by pressing into the block. Slowly release and come back down again. And again, hover the head and then rotate. Little pressure into the feet. And coming all the way back down. You can almost feel every part of the movement as I do this. Last 2. Make sure you can still breathe as you're doing this. I want you to check that you're not holding your breath. You could sing a little song if you want while you're doing it. That'll keep you breathing. And this is the last time. So you come back down to the floor now and just take both hands out from behind your head. And I want you to hold your wrists now. And just take pull your right wrist over to the right side. Maybe it goes to the floor, maybe it doesn't. And then pull it back up. Pull your left wrist over towards the left side. Maybe it goes to the floor, maybe it doesn't. Do that one more time. Now this next exercise is a challenge for the neck. If you want to change your hand position and go back so that you're only doing this, well, you could do it with your head down. You could put a pillow underneath your head so that you don't have to lift your head, or you could put a hand behind your back if you need to. So start with a little pull of the wrists apart, then a nod of the head, and then hover the head, but again, only just off the floor, so you can feel your shoulder blade down on the floor, and then pull yourself over to the right. As you do that, press into your right foot to keep your pelvis level. Come back to centre, it's not too high, you're not lifting too high. And then you can either release down in between, or you could go straight back over to the other side. I'm going to come down, pull again, nod, lift, and then pulling yourself over towards the left side. As you do that, press into the left inner thigh with the block. Come back to centre and then release down. Now, we're going to do this 3 times to each side. You can either relax the head in between, or you can just keep rolling over. Totally up to you. I'm going to just do 3 rolls from side to side. Each time knowing that I get my shoulder blades back on the floor firmly. If I'm not getting the whole of my shoulder blades back down, then my assumption is that I'm curling too high, which means I'm not using my upper neck as much as I'd like to, and I'm really going for that lower abdominal work. That's 2 done. Last time to the left. Come all the way back to centre and release the head down. Take your arms out to the side. Just turn your head left and right. And again, you really want to know that while you're up there, that the skull isn't rolling backwards, that you're keeping looking forwards without having to lift through your shoulder blades. Good. Now your head comes back to centre. So we're going to go back to the grip that we had before. And I want you to make a little circle with the arms. So keep the head down, but take your arms overhead. And then circle them to the right, down towards your legs, over towards the left, and then back up to your head. And I'd like you to do 3 in each direction, please. It's not a really big pull, it's just getting that sense of circling. Anybody who knows me well will know that my counting is really bad. So sometimes I say 3 and then I do 2 or I do 4, and I'm sorry about that. Go round in the other direction. In a minute, we're going to add our head to this, but I want you to get that idea of what this movement feels and looks like in your arms before we add the head. So come back now to the centre. We're going to start by taking the arms overhead again. Start to pull the arms to the right. As you pull your arms to the right, look to the right a little bit. You'll feel the weight go onto your right rib cage a little bit. Lift your head. Look down at your legs, not too high. Roll towards the left. And then you can either put your head down between or you can keep your head lifted. Totally up to you. And I'd like you to do that another 2 times. And last time. Where are your eyes as you do this? When you get back up so that the arms are overhead, you're going to reverse directions, turning to the left, taking the arms down towards the knees, lifting the head, rolling around. And again. When you get all the way round this time, bring your head all the way down and then take your arms out to the side. Stretch those fingers. And just turn one palm down to the floor and look at it. And then change and turn the other palm down as the opposite one goes up and look at it. Just do that one more time to each side, releasing off any stress or strain in the neck and the shoulders. Good, okay, we're going to change position slightly. I'm going to push the block out of the way now. And I'd like you to start with a little float of one leg up into tabletop. Then come back down, float the other leg up into tabletop. As you're doing this, have a sense of your rib cage and your pelvis, and think of your ribs. They're like little rings, aren't they, your ribs? And your pelvis is actually a ring as well. So I want you to imagine you've got all these rings stacked up on top of each other, like a packet of polos. And they're all nicely aligned in their polo packet. And while you're doing this exercise, they stay aligned. They don't push to the left or push to the right or push back or push forwards. So this time, lift one leg off the floor and just let the heel drop towards your bum and bring your knee in a bit more. It might let you get a bit more hip flexion. And then keeping those polos nicely stacked, see if you can slide the other leg in. So your feet are nicely in towards you, and you're just going to take one leg back out and then bring it back in. So you're taking one leg to tabletop at a time. Now each time you do this, I want you to be aware of your torso rings and your pelvic rings staying nicely aligned with each other. So it's not just about your pelvis not moving, it's about the whole of your body staying beautifully aligned. Good. You may feel that you can take the whole of one leg out, or the whole way out is what I meant. You may not. Make this one the last one on each side. And then I'd like you to bring your feet in together. Just let them wrap, just let your knees come in and just circle the knees around just to release off any tension in your thighs. And then go in the other direction. Okay, bring your feet back in and find tabletop, and I want you to connect your legs together. One hand, left hand around the back of your head, right hand is going to go palm up towards your foot, towards your bum. A little hover of your head, and then stretch your right arm down towards your feet as your left arm goes long. So you're side bending basically, and then come back up. And just do that another 2 times, lengthening long through the left side, shortening the right side. You don't have to lift too high. Doesn't need to be a really flexed spine. In fact, if it can just be hovering off the floor with your head, all the better. Now you're going to change positions. Switch to the other side and do the same on the other side. Pressing along with the left, pressing the left hand down towards your feet, the right elbow up towards the wall behind you, which shortens your left side and lengthens your right. Now, switch hands again. And this time you're going to press your right hand up towards the wall behind you. And as you do that, you lengthen your right side. And do that 3 times, pressing up. You can look at that hand if you want to. Each time you do this, switch and change again. Each time you do this, press into your legs a little bit so that you're making your inner thighs do a little bit of work. It means that the front of your thighs don't have to do quite so much of the job. Last one. Now we're going to add a little bit to this. So now, right hand is going to press down. As it presses down, I want you to just take your right leg away. Bring the right leg in, and this time press the right leg up. And as you do, stretch the left leg away. I'm going to do that a few more times. Right arm long, left arm long, left leg long. God, I can't even speak. Right arm up high, left leg down long. We'll do that again. Right leg, right arm. Right arm, left leg. And one more time. And then bring both knees back in. Just bring your head down for a moment's rest. Didn't teach that very well, but hopefully you got there in the end. We'll try it again on the other side and see if I can get it, explain it better. Bring your knees back to centre. Take your right hand around the back of your head. Take your legs to tabletop. Left hand, palm upwards towards your feet. Hover the head. Now you're going to press the left hand towards your feet as you press your left leg long. Then press the left arm up to the wall behind you as you press your right leg long. And I'd like you to keep switching with that. Left leg long, right leg long. Good. 2 more. Breathing as you do this, no breath holding. Try not to come up too high. So really getting that side bending and rotation action rather than flexion. And then just bring your knees into your chest, head releases down, knees circle round. And the legs come come down to the floor. Stretch them out. Stretch your arms out. You are done.